Once upon a time in a tech-free cottage deep in the woods, lived a girl who everyone called Little Red. Don't ask why. That's what her mother packed for her. One day, Red decided to pack a picnic lunch and head into town to visit her grandmother, who was sick with a cold. While Red was packing her basket, she thought, Grandma would love some tunes. I'm feeling pretty jazzy today. Maybe I'll bring my karaoke mic. Then she grabbed her favorite bright red hoodie. Ooh, this hood is so pocketable, she said, not noticing that the pockets were suspiciously large. Little did she know that those deep pockets would soon be the least of her worries. Red set off through the woods, belting out show tunes from her favorite musicals. As she walked, she made small talk with the woodland creatures, which was awkward. So she just started singing, which was much easier. And to avoid running into any woodland weirdos, she put on her headphones and turned up her mic. As Red approached the edge of the forest, she heard the sound of a piano playing a jaunty tune. She peeked through the trees and saw a clearing with an old log cabin. And in front of the cabin was a guy playing a piano with a voice like gravel. Red couldn't help but stop and listen. "That's me," said the man when he finished playing. He turned around and smiled at Red. "I was hoping someone would come along and sing a few numbers with me." Startled by the sudden appearance of a talking wolf, Red dropped her basket. But then she noticed that the wolf wasn't in the best of spirits. His eyes were droopy and his ears were pinned back. And Red knew that if she didn't help him, he might just run off and die. So she picked up her basket and asked, "Can I get you something to eat or drink? You look absolutely famished." "Actually, that's just my resting face," the wolf said. "But thanks for the offer. Why don't you sit down and have a little snack and we'll do a song together?" And Red was happy to oblige. She pulled out a cookie and bit into it as the wolf played a slow, sad ballad on the piano. When he finished, Red said, "That was beautiful, but maybe a little depressing. How about something upbeat?" So the wolf played a merry tune and Red sang along, dancing in the clearing until suddenly she heard a voice calling out, "Red, where are you? It's time for tea." Red turned to see an old woman walking toward them. "Who's that?" she whispered to the wolf. "Looks like your granny," the wolf said. Then he turned to the old woman and said, "Well, hello there, neighbor. Fancy meeting you here. I was just on my way home from the market," the woman said. "Oh, what a coincidence. So was I," Red lead. "We're just heading home from our little picnic," she added, trying to look innocent. The wolf noticed that one of Red's pockets was bulging. "Hey kiddo, what's in the pocket?" he asked. "Oh hi, Mr. Wolf," Red said, startled. I was just putting my hands in my really pocketable pockets," she said, pulling out a handful of cookies. "Would either of you care for a snack?" "Oh, I certainly could go for a cookie," the old woman said, and Red handed her the whole bag. Then the old woman leaned in close to Red and whispered, "Why don't you go ahead and take off that hoodie, honey? It's so hot out. We can keep your things safe. Right, Mr. Wolf?" The wolf nodded enthusiastically. So Red took off her hoodie and joined the old woman at the piano while the wolf got behind the drums. They played and sang as Red watched, mesmerized by the old woman's nimble fingers on the keys. After a while, the old woman said, "Say, you two look like you're having fun. Why don't you join me and this big lug for a song?" Red hesitated, then smiled and stepped up to the mic. The three of them sang and laughed together until the sun went down. Then Red remembered she had a house to clean and a granny to visit. So she said, "It was so nice meeting you too, but I have to go now. Bye, Mr. Wolf," she called as she skipped away. "Wait a minute," the wolf said. "You never even told us your name." "Oh, it's Red," she said without looking back. "Red, like the color," the wolf said. Then he turned to the old woman and said, "That reminds me of a song I once heard. How about a little folk tune to end the evening?" "Sure," the old woman said with a wink. And that's how the wolf, the old woman and the girl named Red became the hit folk trio of the forest. Howling at Noon, with their first single, "Bring More Cookies."